Doesn't the music just touch your heart? Wow, that's beautiful. Well, good morning again. I know that Judy didn't say this, but I will. We are starting a new tradition here at Unity by the Sea, and that is that directly following the service, there's a little segment called Stump the Minister. I named it. And that is, if there is something in the talk or in life that is on your mind, if you'd like directly after the service, I know different ministers, Lorena did a little differently last week, but I will stay here for maybe 5 minutes. And if you want to come up and chat, that's great. We do have coffee, tea, and goodies downstairs, so I'll wind my way down there. And you might want to chat down there. And that's, a lot of us talked to Lorena downstairs last week, so over tea and coffee and crumpets. So just be aware of that we can join together in that kind of fellowship as well after the service. So stump the minister. The name of my talk this morning, I know no one knows this because we were expecting Reverend Charles. Actually, yesterday afternoon, after Judy called and said, we have a little change of plans, Mike and I were out and about running errands, and we went home, and I said, I'd like to hear the music you're going to play tomorrow, because he had those 3 songs picked out for Charles, based on peace and healing, which is, he's known as the man of peace around town. He's amazing. And so Mike played that, and all of these thoughts kept coming to me. So the name of my message today is Coming Out. Will I be coming out today? You betcha. Will you be coming out today? Maybe. I heard a question last week, and it just has stuck in my mind. And the question was, if you were arrested today for being a Christian, not impossible in a lot of parts of the world, if you were arrested today for being a Christian, would there be enough evidence to convict you? Whoa! I thought, well, isn't that an interesting question? What evidence would I have, would you have, that shows that you or I live life through love? That we actually live and embody the teachings of Jesus, of unity, of oneness, of love. We did get a little bit of direction from St. Francis of Assisi. He said, and I have this on a plaque in my house in Salem, preach the gospel at all times. If necessary, use words. Right? Preach the gospel at all times, and if you really have to, okay, you can speak. Now, he lived in the early 13th century. He died 1226 or so. That was a radical notion for them. That was a radical notion. We were in the middle of conflict everywhere and war and darkness, and yet he was willing to stand. To stand, he was willing to be the light of Christ in the world. In the darkness of the world, in the violence, in the fear, he was willing to stand and say, preach the love of Christ, of Jesus Christ. If you need to use words, okay, but preach the gospel all the time. In other words, live the teachings of Christ. Live love. In the middle of all the darkness, he had the wherewithal to say, live love. I know St. Paul of Tarsus, who, started his life by persecuting Christians until he had that famous journey to Damascus and was struck down and blind, and then he could see love and the teachings of Christ. What Paul wrote is, stand, and having done all else, stand. What he meant was to stand exactly what St. Francis said, to stand, to be in your foundation of love, of God every day, to preach the gospel, just by being yourself. You can talk, you can preach, you can march, do all of that, but then just be. Stand, and having done all else, stand. Be the light in the world. Stand firmly in your foundation of love. Do, and then be, because in the being is the power. You know, norms certainly shift over time. Consciousness evolves. A lot has changed over my lifetime. I know some of you are quite a bit younger, and you've still seen a lot of changes in this world. Some things are the same. I remember I was watching all the marches. There have been several marches during the last week, and I was watching them on TV, and I thought, you know, in the day, I'm a child of the 60s, and so in late 60s-ish, I participated in a march down Common Ave in Boston, Commonwealth Avenue. Tens of thousands of us, perhaps hundreds of thousands. I didn't have a concept, I was just marching, and that was great. And we ended up in the Boston Common, and it was against the war in Vietnam, and Jane Fonda was speaking, and I thought, wow, some things stay the same. Because of the marches on January 21st, the March for Life just a couple days ago, we still get out there and express ourselves and stand for what we believe. I also remember that when I was younger, that it was not okay to come out and be gay or lesbian or any of that. It was not okay. It was a disease to be cured. It was just not okay to be who you are. Now, as a child of the 60s, I really didn't understand that. Just like the millennials today don't understand a lot of what the conflict is about, because we're just who we are. And as consciousness evolves, we know that. And we get more open and inclusive and more loving. Today, the LGBTQ, Q kind of throws me off, community is increasingly okay. It doesn't matter. Marriage equality, of course. We're all people. It just doesn't matter. I remember, probably in my teens maybe, when I saw the movie Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania. That notion was radical to me. And yet today, we're all people. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're the color of your skin or your orientation. It doesn't matter. We are all spiritual creatures of light. So norms do shift over time, don't they? This evolving consciousness. And yet, as far as coming out, we can talk about all these things. We can talk about the marches. We can talk about LGBTQ community, but I don't see a C in there. I don't see a Christian in there, because we tend to focus on the outer. Who do you love? What do you look like? Rather than making it okay to stand, as Paul said, to stand. There are more and more folks, LGBTQ and others, that are willing to come out and say, this is who I am. We no longer have don't ask, don't tell. We are willing to be who we are. Are you willing to come out? I'm willing to come out. I remember when I was ordained, it was in the Unity Church in Beaverton, and there were, I don't know, 50 or 60 people there. That was a transformative moment for me, to stand there and say, yes, I am a minister of God. It was huge. That felt like my coming out. Are you willing to come out? When someone says something kind of hateful or not very nice? Are you willing to say something like, there's another way to look at that? I mean, I don't usually get in somebody's face, but I usually say, well, let's take a look at that. Well, can we look at it from the other side? Well, everything is not doom and gloom. I know some days it looks like it, but it's really not. Are you willing to come out and let your light shine brighter? Jesus in Matthew 5:14 through 16 wrote, 5:14 through 16, "You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. A city that's set on a hill cannot be hidden." It can't. It's out there for everyone to see. "Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick." Of course. "And it gives light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." Let your light so shine because you are the light of the world. Let's all affirm that.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
One more time.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Woo-hoo. Thanks, Mike. Just this morning, as I was going over my notes, I said, I think let's do this. And he kind of looks at me, And he picked up his ukulele, and there it is. Thank you. You are the light of the world. Let your little light shine. Yesterday, remember the question. If you were arrested for being a Christian, would there be enough evidence to convict you? Does your light shine? Yesterday we had breakfast with a friend, and he was saying that it's really not always pleasant to go into work in the morning because he gets there first and his coworker comes in, and no matter what it is, it could be the most brilliantly sunny, warm, glorious day, there's always something wrong. His coworker comes in, there was so much traffic, or, I don't feel really well, or, oh my gosh, the sun's so bright. And aren't people like that sometimes? That is not letting your light shine. I was I had a conversation with a fairly high-level manager at work on Friday. He said, I'm so glad so-and-so has retired because he was such a bully. He was just a bully. He was just bullying everyone. And he looked at me and he said, did he ever bully you? And I said, perhaps he tried, but I don't know if he did or not. Because once you identify that behavior in someone, you have a choice of how to respond. What you resist persists. And I knew that he was kind of an unpleasant fellow who pushed people around, but it just didn't matter to me. It's easy to identify that unloving behavior, isn't it? When I had gotten to, I work for the state, as some of you know, and I moved from working in one of the regions to working at headquarters. And about maybe 2 months after I was there, I got this package in the inter-office mail, and I thought, what the heck? Well, it was my secretary from region, and she had gotten this beautiful glass sun that stood up, had a little stand, and she said, "I miss my sunshine." And I thought, oh my goodness, that meant more to me, because that is standing and preaching the gospel without using words. Let your light shine. On the other hand, I'll say this is an alternative fact, but I'll say it anyway. Last Wednesday morning, on my way to work, I listened to Sirius Radio, and they were playing the song, you're probably not going to like this because it might stay in your mind, but mares eat oats and does eat oats and little lambs eat honey. And so, don't you know, it was just when I got to work, and I'm walking around work, kind of muttering that to myself. It just is like that earworm, it just stays there. And the next morning, I came into work and I wasn't muttering that, and my coworker said, "Oh, thank goodness you're over that." It was like it was so annoying to him.
Well, probably was saying it himself the rest of the day.
Maybe so, right? I know, and are you going to be doing that?
Yes.
We just get to be ourselves, just to let our lights shine. I was here, fortunate enough to be here the first Sunday of the year, and we allowed a word or a notion to choose us of what we kind of what direction we wanted to go in this year, and what we wanted to feed and nurture in us. And so if you have a word, just kind of think of it, because it fits in today, it fits in every day, fits in with every situation every day, whatever it is. Last year my word was harmony, just to allow the truth that harmony is all that is, everything is in divine order every moment. And this year my word is humility. And sometimes it is so subtle, just a thought like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like, really, Jean? Really? So what's your word, and how does it fit in today? And how subtle can it be, really? It can be pretty darn subtle. Because this is not about, when we come out, it is not about our small ego self. It is about our God self when we come out. Are you willing to come out? Are you willing to let your light shine even brighter? In James 4:6, this speaks to my word, and I'm sure there are passages that speak to your word. God resists the proud and gives grace unto the humble. And as you know, my affirmation, and you can certainly borrow it, you can have it, you can share it, you can multiply it. Open me to grace upon grace upon grace. Open me, Lord, to grace upon grace upon grace. Let's go into our time of meditation and take that notion of coming out, of letting our light shine, of standing firmly in truth, in love, and opening our hearts and our souls to experiencing grace upon grace upon grace. Just invite you to begin to focus on your breath, knowing that every breath feeds and nurtures that light in you, in all of us. And if there is something on your mind this morning, in your heart, that could use a little more light, I just invite you to hold that loosely in your mind's eye and just allow it to be filled with light. For I know there is one presence, there is one energy, one essence, and that is God, that is good, that is love. Beside it there is none other, for we are each one in and of that love. And for anything that we are holding in our hearts, unlike that love, unlike that God light in us, I know that light fills and dissipates all apparent darkness and doubt. As we are willing to open our hearts to grace upon grace, upon grace, in joy, peace, in the glory and glory and glory of love. And I release these words in the universal law, knowing they're already done, because that is who and what we are. The light of God. You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world so easily, so gently, so fully and completely. And I say, thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen. Just gently open your eyes and just take a deep breath. Life is so good. So good.